we were in a financial wilderness. They had paid for their last luxury hotel on a credit card that was withdrawn before the ink on the receipt was dry. They had returned to London not in a private jet, but in a scramble of desperation. But we had friends, Dell said, his voice regaining some of its gravelly strength. Good people. Mike Fisher, the landlord of the Nag's Head. He put his life savings into our venture, remortgaged the pub. Justin's eyebrows rose. And where is Mr. Fisher now? Dill's face fell. He's in the nick, awaiting trial. The fraud squad thinks he tried to embezzle the brewery to cover his losses, but he's innocent. Justin never was a man more innocent. He's just a victim of circumstance, like us. Chapter 3, The Witness for the Prosecution. In the hallway outside the courtroom, the air was thick with the scent of cheap cologne and nervousness. Denzel, a man whose constitution was built for the quiet life, was pacing a hole in the linoleum. Sit down, Denzel. Uncle Albert growled from his seat. Albert looked every bit the ancient mariner, his white beard a testament to decades of salty air and wartime sagas. You're wearing the marble out. I can't, Albert. I've never been a character witness before, Denzel stammered. What if I say the wrong thing? What if they find out about that time in '80 for with the van? You're not the one on trial, Trigger said, appearing from the shadows with his usual vacant stare. Trigger was a man who seemed to exist in a different time zone, possibly a different dimension altogether. I'm the one with the most to worry about. I'm managing the Nag's Head while Mike's away. What if they think his fiddles are my fiddles? Just tell the truth, Trig, Albert advised. Trigger nodded solemnly. I'm going to tell them I hear voices. No, Trig, Denzel cried. You're a character witness. You're supposed to make them look good. I do hear voices, Trigger insisted. Mainly my own, but they're very convincing. Inside the courtroom, Dell and Rodney stood before the bench, the weight of the inland revenue pressing down on them like a physical force. The houses were gone. The peacocks Dell had bought for his estate had probably been repossessed by a very confused bailiff. They were back where they started, Nelson Mandela House. The court's decision was swift. Dell was declared bankrupt. Rodney was exonerated of responsibility mostly because the court viewed him as an administrative bystander, but the debt remained. £48,754, plus interest. Don't worry, sweetheart, Dell told Raquel that night, as they sat in the familiar, cramped kitchen of the flat. I've worked it all out. I'm a trader. I've been trading since I was 12. I could sell rice to the Chinese. The firm's liquidated, Dell, Rodney said, looking at his brother with a mixture of pity and annoyance. You're disqualified from running a company. Dell's eyes twinkled. The old spark. Exactly. I'm disqualified. But you aren't, are you? Rotters, you're young, enthusiastic, full of ideas. Rodney paused, a piece of toast halfway to his mouth. What are you saying? Trotter's independent traders, under new management. Managing Director, Rodney Trotter. I'll just be the consultant, the power behind the throne, the Richelieu to your Louis XIV. Rodney's chest puffed out just a fraction. Managing Director, I suppose. Legally, there's nothing to stop me. It's a brilliant idea. Rodney, Argent, competent, as they say in Canada. Chapter 4, The Last Voyage of the Ancient Mariner. The news of Uncle Albert's passing had come with the suddenness of a winter gale. He had been living in sin with Elsie Partridge down on the coast, enjoying a retirement filled with cognac and the retelling of his wartime adventures to anyone who couldn't run fast enough. The funeral was a somber affair, or it should have been. Dell, Rodney, and the family stood by the graveside in a cemetery they barely recognized. The wind whipped around them. I feel bad, Dell whispered to Raquel, leaving him here while we were off globetrotting. I wish we'd taken him to Barbados. We asked Dell. Rodney reminded him. He didn't have a passport. The man had been around the Cape of Good Hope 20 times, but couldn't get past Heathrow security. They watched as a man named Roland, claiming to be Albert's nephew, approached. He spoke of Albert with a bitterness that set those teeth on edge. Never bloody stopped, did he? Roland sneered. All those wartime sagas. John Wayne stuff. To hear him go on, you'd think he won the war by himself. Those eyes narrowed. He stepped forward, his voice low and dangerous. You've got to remember, Roland, that a lot of blokes lost their lives for our liberty, just so that 50 years later, prats like you would have the freedom to knock them. You want to take this outside? Dad, calm down. Damien pulled at his sleeve. The hearse is here, someone whispered. As the coffin was lowered, Damien looked up. Is that a Spitfire, Dad? Dell looked up. Then he looked at the name on the headstone next to them. Then he looked at the mourners across the way. Rodney, Dell hissed, we're at the wrong funeral. What? This isn't Albert. This is a bloke called Bunny Warren. He was in the RAF. They scrambled away, a chaotic blur of black coats and embarrassed apologies, leaving the RAF veteran to his final rest. It was a mistake Albert would have loved. He always did enjoy a bit of a mix-up at sea. Chapter 5, The Gold Rush. The debt to the Inland Revenue loomed like a dark cloud over Nelson Mandela House. Dell needed a miracle. He needed a big win. And as he sat in front of the television, watching Jonathan Ross host the latest hit game show, Gold Rush, he saw his path. I'm going on it, Dell announced. I'm going to win the $100,000. Dell, you thought the potato was introduced to England by King Edward, Cassandra pointed out. I didn't hear the question properly. I was distracted by his tie. Despite the skepticism, Dell made it. He found in